PB core testing is how they determine how powerful a paddle is. They take a paddle, and then they'll take a cannon. They shoot the ball at the paddle, and then they measure the coefficient of restitution, which just means how fast does the ball come back in relation to how fast was the ball shot at the paddle. The level of allowable power is going to be going down. There are some paddles that are definitely going to get delisted, kind of like what happened with the Mod and the Gen 3s. I've been somebody who said that the paddles are too powerful for the best interest of the game. I think we had kind of two options. Do the pros all play with glasses, or just bring the power down. You don't want people getting hit in the eye. It's not safe. Okay, welcome to another episode of my show. We're coming off a quarterfinal appearance with Collin Johns, so that was great. Collin is the underappreciated legend of the game. One of the best right-siders ever. We had a pretty crazy run. We won our first round, or just an interesting run. Our first round we won it, and then our second round we played against Quang, Duong, and Hunter Johnson. It was a back-and-forth match. We lost the first game super badly. They just came out and crushed us. With serves and drives, and this actually kind of aligns with what a lot of people want to know about playing against bangers, because Quang, Duong, and Hunter are two, quote-unquote bangers in a way. Quang especially, he just loves to serve the ball as hard as he can and drive the ball as hard as he can, and they crushed us in the first game. And Collin is kind of like the opposite of that. Collin is somebody who likes to play the slow, methodical game. He doesn't really drive and crash a lot. He plays more of an old-school style. And so we got crushed the first game, and then Collin's like, okay, James, I think we got to just, Collin started hitting his returns higher in cross court. I started doing the same. Using the high cross court return is something that's definitely helpful against bangers, so to speak, because if the cross court return is hit as opposed to a down the line return, you have more space. So as a result, you have more time, because if you hit a ball across court, there's an extra 5 feet of space, as opposed to hitting the ball down the line because of the geometry of the court. Plus, putting a little height on that ball, obviously, Quang and Hunter would have to let the return bounce. So if you have to let the return bounce, because that is the rule of pickleball, then that gives me a ton of time to get up to the kitchen and then get established by the time they're making contact with the ball. So that was something that was huge for us. We started doing that. We started having a much easier time keeping them back and sort of handling the power that they were hitting to us. And another thing that was big for us was just getting our volleys out in front off of drives. I think people take too big of swings when they're dealing with somebody driving the ball, and they also tense up. So for me, I was thinking, all right, well, they're crushing these drives at me. They're also dipping really quickly. I'm not going to try to take a big swing and try to impart any extra power off of the power that they're giving me. I'm just going to have a small swing, keep everything in front, and if it comes to my forehand side, I'm not going to tense up either, because that's something that happens with a lot of players. They'll be in this ready position, and then it comes to their forehand, and they tense up, and they slice the ball. If you tense up, you're going to be more likely to slice your forehand volley, and that is not what you want to be doing. You just want to be loose, especially on the forehand volley. So that's what I did. I kept my volleys, my hands in front on the volley. I made a wide base, and I also was keeping my head still. That's something that a lot of players will do wrong. If somebody's hitting hard drives at them, they'll kind of lean back and pull up their head and move their head around a lot. That's not really something you want to be doing. It's a lot easier to just stay down, and if somebody hits the ball hard at you, you kind of just sink down with the pace, try to absorb the pace, and keep your head forward. And so those are the things we focused on, and we won the second game 11-2, and then in the third game, we were down 9-5, and they were serving. They were serving at 9-5, and that's a tough situation to be in. Obviously, in pickleball, you play to 11, so that means you only got 2 points to spare. Quang serving, he's crushing the serve, and I just hit a floaty return. Luckily, was able to just punch the next volley off of one of their drives, and then we just won 6 straight points. We got hot, we got on a run, and we won the game, the third game, 11-9. And it's just crazy how pickleball works. It's such a game of runs in a way. because you can only win on your serve, obviously, in side out scoring, not rally scoring. So you definitely, one of the things we learned too from that is just sticking to the fundamentals, not really trying to do too much, and just kind of knowing that if you're playing the right way over and over, maybe you will lose some points and maybe you'll win some points, but the only thing you can really control is just playing the right way every time and doing what you know how to do. Because in matches, a lot of players will try to overplay and try to do things that they haven't actually worked on, maybe, or try to feel like they have to do something special. But really, the best you can ever do in a match is just doing what you've been doing in training. You have to just kind of go out there and trust what you have done in practice, because if you try to do anything better than that, it's actually just going to end up making you play worse, probably. It's better to just go out there and be yourself. So that's something that I think a lot of people could benefit from, because I know tournament play is something that can jar a lot of people and make people, think a little too much and get into fight or flight mode, and that happens, and that's kind of what makes it fun too. It's more fun to play that way if something matters and you care about it and you're nervous. So that's a good thing, because that's what makes it fun. And if you didn't care about it, you wouldn't be nervous, but you also wouldn't care about it, so the winning part of it wouldn't be fun. So it's all a trade-off, but just remembering that when you play, just do what you've done in training, and if you are starting to lose, make tactical adjustments, but don't try to overplay, do anything crazy. Just do your thing. Hey guys, James Ignatowich here. Make sure to not get ghosted in the pickleball group chat. Play more. We all know the feeling. You're down to play some pickleball. You send a message to your group chat. A couple people like the message. Are you sure you're going to play the game? You don't really know. Play More is a new pickleball app that does that frustrating part for you. I hate setting up games. I try to make sure somebody else does it every single time. But if I have the Play More app, it changes everything for me. So you're going to be playing with players your level. No more 5-0 versus 3-0 matchups. It's going to be all streamlined and super easy. So make sure to check out the Play More app. Try it out on the App Store, or use the web version at getplaymore.com. Another thing that we kind of felt was important was, a lot of players that use paddles that have a little more deflection, that have that hollow sound, the ones that will delaminate and have a lot of power. One thing that's actually good to do against those players is hit bigger serves and hit harder balls to them, because it's harder to control those balls off of a delaminated, or not, delaminated is not what it actually is, it's core crush, but a more, powerful paddle. So if you're playing against somebody with a really powerful paddle, you don't really just want to play a super defensive game and let them dictate everything, because that's actually easier for them. So me personally, I really like to hit the serve hard. I feel confident hitting my serve hard. So if I'm playing against somebody that's got a very powerful paddle, I'll actually sometimes go for the serve even more, because I know that it's tougher to keep returns in off of hard hit serves, hard hit returns and drives, because that ball or that paddle that they're using will sometimes be more springy. So that's something to consider too, that if you are playing against somebody that's got a lot of power, they're using a very powerful paddle, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be trying to impart your own aggression in those situations. So those are the main things that we learned. A lot of winners were hit from the middle, through the middle, from what I saw at PPA Atlanta. It's still happening a lot, especially at the levels below pro. So try to remember that, like, if a ball is hit from the middle, through the middle, as a speed up, super, super high success rate. And it makes sense, because, there's a low part of the net. It's the lowest part of the net, the one that's in the middle. Obviously, it's 34 in the middle and 36 on the sides, as I've said all the time. Big deal. But also, if it's being hit from the middle, then both players are kind of like, I don't know whose ball it is. Is it mine? Is it yours? And really, I think both players should go for it. I've said this before, so I'll keep it quick. But if a ball is hit from the middle, through the middle, both players should just go for that ball. And I think if you clank paddles, not a big deal. And this is for speed ups. If the ball is soft and it's floaty, of course, the left side player, if it's a righty, should take it with their forehand and slam it. But if it's a speed up, hit from the middle, through the middle, and it's kind of just a surprise, just stick your paddle out there, because there's so many winners that are getting hit in that situation. I think statistically it makes sense for both players to go for it, because there's way more winners being hit than there are, both players were on it, paddle clank, mistake. That's a lot less likely than the first one. So yeah, that's all we got for those particular things. We're learning about the PB core testing, which is kind of cool. So what they call PB core testing is how they determine how powerful a paddle is. So there's all this new stuff, and if you want to know about the power of paddles and how much less powerful paddles are going to be getting pretty soon, this is pretty interesting. So and again, I don't know how this will relate to the amateur game, but it looks like the paddle power in the pro game is going down to a certain extent. So it started a little bit higher, and basically to make PB core simple, what they do for the test, and they take a paddle. So if it's a Selkirk paddle, they'll take a Selkirk paddle, whatever paddle it is, they'll take it, and then they'll take a cannon. And then they have a cannon. The cannon will shoot a ball. And the UPA does a 50-mile-an-hour shot. USAP does a 60-mile-an-hour shot. They take the cannon, they shoot the ball at the paddle, and then they measure the coefficient of restitution, which just means how fast does the ball come back in relation to how fast was the ball shot at the paddle. So, for example, if you shoot the ball at 50 miles an hour and then it comes back at 25 miles an hour, that would be, 0.5, right? Because it's half of the actual pace that it was shot at the paddle. So it's interesting. And the USAP actually does this test on a ball with no holes, which is weird because you play pickleball with holes. I've never played pickleball with a ball that didn't have holes in it. But that's actually how the USAP does this test. They do a 60-mile-an-hour shot from a cannon at a paddle, and the ball pace that it comes back, that's how they determine how powerful that paddle is, which is interesting. I mean, there are some people that say that's not an accurate way or fully accurate way to determine how powerful a paddle is. I think that if you look at some of the paddles that have passed and failed, it probably isn't. But either way, those numbers are going down for both. So it looks like the pro game and the amateur game, to a certain extent, the level of allowable power is going to be going down to a not insignificant degree. It'll definitely take some paddles out of circulation. So I was one of the first people to have the privilege of learning this. I wanted to tell you guys this. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you guys this. I probably am. But if you are using a really powerful paddle, just keep on the lookout, because I don't know if it's going to be legal. There are some paddles that are definitely going to get delisted, kind of like what happened with the mod and the Gen 3s. So, I don't know how many paddles are going to get delisted, but if you were somebody who did not like how powerful the paddles are, then you might be a little happy by this news, because it looks like the power is going down. So that's something that I like too. I've been somebody who said that the paddles are too powerful now. The most powerful paddles, in my opinion, right now are too powerful for the, just for the best interest of the game. It's just not necessarily safe. I think we had kind of two options. Do the pros all play with glasses, or does the power of paddles go down? And I think it was a better look for the game. Just bring the power down. You don't want people getting hit in the eye. It's not safe, obviously. And so that is an interesting thing. And yeah, that's about it for today. I just taught a great clinic in Alabama. Had a ton of fun. If you know anybody who wants to book me for a full day of clinics, I'm known to go for 10 hours per day. So if you have a bunch of people that want 3 and pro lessons with me and kind of just want me there, I will go there for the whole day. So I was just in Rainsville, Alabama. It was a town of about 6,000 people. I can't believe I was booked all day. I might have booked everybody in the town. But that's kind of, it was an awesome place. And yeah, if you want me to come to your town and teach a bunch of pickleball, reach out to me, James Ignatowich Coaching on Instagram, or my phone number, which is 91. I'm just joking. Okay, thanks for watching.